Back over to the women's division, rotation number 2. And Kim Zmeskal, our all-around champion, where she had most of her problems on the uneven bars.
Many people say that this is Kim's weakest event, but it's weak relative to her other events. When you're capable of a 10, as Kim is in the other 3, a 9-7 or so seems low. This is where she had a little problem in the all-around competition. Well done. She works right out of it. That was beautiful. She still has another release and a big dismount. Reverse hecht, beautiful, and preparing for a dismount. Watch how high she goes on this dismount. A layout, double pike, and another great landing. That's typical Kim Zmeskal.
When I asked Kim about goals down the road, twinkle came in her eye, and she started talking about Barcelona in '92, and she's definitely a shining hope for U.S. gymnastics in that direction.
This is one event where Kim Zmeskal is going to have to put in long and hard hours and make a lot of improvement. This is a skill that sometimes gives her some trouble, her Jaeger front, and that's how it's supposed to be done. She's been very inconsistent in big competitions on that element. On the other hand, she is very strong in the area of the dismount. She has a beautiful layout, double pike, and a tremendous landing. She goes so high in the air, it's hard to do it much better than this.
So a big improvement for Kim Zmeskal after a shaky start on the vault. She comes on strong on the uneven bars, and let's see what the judges say for Zmeskal. It'll be a 9.812, and she is now tied for the lead with Christy Henrys. The individual event finals continue. Erica Stokes, 4th place all-around finisher yesterday, up next on the uneven bars. Before she takes on that apparatus, though, she takes us through a regular work day for her at Bella Caroli's gym.
I wake up about 6 o'clock, get ready for gym, go to gym, work out for about 3.5 hours, and then from there we get ready for school. We go to school for about 4 hours, and then we come home, maybe rest a little while, go back to gym, then we come home, do the homework, and then sleep.
How long is your training in the evening?
About 4 hours.
So how many hours a week are you spending in gymnastics?
About 35 to 40.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That is a tough load for a young lady that's only 14 years old.
But it's also the secret to their success. On this event, Bella Caroli's gymnasts are characterized by their clean form and their consistent performances. They do well because they rarely miss. We just saw our first release, a Ginger, and here comes our second release, a reverse hecht. Late in the routine, this is no easy task. Beautifully done. Now she's setting up for a dismount. Pirouette. Right into a double tuck. Little hop on the landing.
Erica Stokes, Olathe, Kansas, living in Houston, Texas, told me she was inspired by Mary Lou Retton at the '84 games. She was only 7 years old at the time. By the time she was 10, she had already moved to Houston and was training with Bella Caroli. 4th place all-around finisher, will represent the United States at the upcoming Goodwill Games. Moving over to the men's 3rd rotation, and from the national championship team at the University of Nebraska on the still rings, Mark Warburton.
Mark has a real inventive look on the rings. You'll see in the middle of his routine, he does a very unique combination. He shows us right there his first strength part, a nice L cross, and he'll kip and go right into a straddled flange right here. Now here's that unique piece of swing work. Watch this. It's a pike double whip it, followed immediately by another one right to the handstand. Extremely difficult. Done as well as anybody in the world. All he has to do is stick his dismount, and this is fabulous. A great landing.
The one event Warburton really excels at. He is the reigning Big 8 rings champion.
Another look at the most exciting part of his routine. Watch this. This is a pike double whip it. Immediately into another one. Doesn't really start from the handstand, so doesn't have as much power and is much more difficult.
And a 9.6 for Warburton, not as high as I thought.
You know, my only criticism of him in this routine is that he really doesn't have the super strength that you need to bring the big score in a finals competition.
We just saw Erica Stokes on the uneven bars, and she comes up with a solid 9.812. Another great score for Bella Caroli's gym. Sandy Woolsey now on the uneven bars.
This is Sandy's best event. The judges are looking for tremendous swing, spectacular releases like you just saw there, and big dismounts, and Sandy will deliver all of these things. Here comes her dismount. It's the most difficult dismount being performed in the competition. A full twisting double back, and she nails it. That was great. That was an awesome routine.
Possibly the best performance we've seen all weekend long from Sandy Woolsey.
This is Sandy's transitional move. The gymnasts are required to move from the low bar to the high bar. She does it with the release move. That was so well done. That's not really difficult, but it's unique. Most of the girls use the same connections, standard skills. It's really nice to see Sandy using something different. Sandy did a fantastic job on her dismount. She had the most difficult dismount performed in the competition. A full twisting double back. There's her full into the somersault and a back somersault out. Beautiful landing.
A superb job by Sandy Woolsey. She needs to top a 9.812 to take the gold. And she's done it. A 9.9 for Sandy Woolsey on the uneven bars as she celebrates with her coach, Stormy Eaton of the Desert Devils. Sandy finished 5th in the all-around competition, a member of our U.S. national team, and she is taken first in the uneven bars with that 9.9. So the women have completed their second rotation with Sandy Woolsey coming out on top at a three-way tie for second between Stokes, Henrich, and Zmeskal. The men have completed their third rotation now on the still rings, and Scott Keswick took the gold, followed by Cheney Humphrey and Mark Warburton. We'll be right back to Denver. Welcome back to the individual finals. The balance beam for the women and the men's vault. The fourth rotation of the men's division, and the first up, a high school student from Houston, Texas, only 17 years old, Kerry Huston.
That's right, and for the men, 17, he's a youngster. We look at Sandy Woolsey, she's a veteran at that age. This kid has a bright future, and boy, is he dynamic here. A handspring laid out front. Very few people in the world have done this. Only the Soviets and a couple other gymnasts around the world.
So it truly is amazing to see that type of degree of difficulty from a 17-year-old.
What makes this so difficult is that he flips completely straight body in the forward position. A very awkward position. You don't see the ground until your feet are completely on the floor.
A 9.6, the first vault for Kerry Huston.
A great vault, but still a little bit rough around the edges.
Now remember, his second vault has to be different. Let's see if it could be possibly even more outrageous than the first.
Watch this, the total reckless abandon. Wow.
Crash landing.
I tell you, this kid pulls out all the stops. 17 years old, was an alternate to come into the finals, and he came in here trying to win it all.
So Kerry Huston has completed his two vaults.
Only a handful of athletes in the world attempting this vault at this point. Watch, 2.5 flips off of the horse, but really nowhere near it. But you gotta like his aggressive style.
9.2 on his second vault. That gives him an average of 9.4. You have to like the Kerry Huston, though, making